According to a dualist theory, human beauty is not only the outer beauty of the physical appearance, but also the inner beauty of the character of a person. Inner beauty is often explained in terms of moral or virtuous character traits. Most philosophical theories of beauty explain the beauty of a human being not differently than the beauty of an artwork, a landscape, or an animal. Nevertheless, some prima facie considerations suggest an exceptional position of human beauty. First, the beauty of human beings seems to be closely connected with sexual attractiveness, and tends to evoke desire and love. Secondly, the empirical research on attractiveness has found some objective features of attractiveness and, one might assume, thereby of human beauty. Thirdly, everyday life and also the philosophical debate mentions inner beauty again and again. And inner beauty is beauty attributed to the character or soul of a person. Paul Valery said, "Health is the silence of the organs," and the World Health Organization said that, health is not only the absence of illness but a state of complete mental and social well-being. On the other hand, beauty, which Plato placed behind health and before fortune, has not been well defined. An aesthetic surgeon by definition must create or conserve beauty. Surgical techniques abound in the textbooks of Europe, North, South and Central America, but, in my opinion, artistic teaching on human beauty is not taught enough. The aesthetic surgeon often finds it difficult to define beauty. He is not alone. Ask different people and the answers vary considerably and, in the main, are not satisfactory. Right from the start we are told that beauty is about proportion, equilibrium, symmetry. Therefore, it is better to explain beauty objectively and describe the different canons of Egyptian, Greek, and Roman. Beauty is an ensemble of shapes and proportions, which bring us pleasure and which we admire, but the concept varies according to different cultures. Beauty is a balance between shape and volume. Beauty stimulates an aesthetic feeling within us, pleasing to the eye, a sense of admiration. Some say beauty is a visual pheromone. Beauty is a combination of qualities such as form, proportion, and color in a human face, or other object, that delights the sight. Beauty does not exist itself, it exists in the eye of the beholder. If something pleases someone, it is beautiful to him. If this same thing does not please another, it is not beautiful to him. It is not that which is beautiful that pleases him, it is that which pleases him that is beautiful. David Hume, 1711–1776, the Scottish philosopher said, "Beauty is essentially a private and personal experience. Beauty is in the eye and mind of the beholder." He also said, "Beauty is not a quality of the thing itself but that which exists in the mind of those who contemplate it." Everyone experiences beauty individually. Eric Newton said, "Beauty is something which gives pleasure, but that which gives pleasure to one person does not necessarily give pleasure to someone else." Some philosophers conclude, that which is beautiful is good, that which is good is beautiful. What the poetess Sappho said a long time ago was, "That which is beautiful is good and he who is good will soon become beautiful." Beauty is not only a question of the face, voice, body, or a graceful physique. People are beautiful because of their character, personality, their ability to bring joy, and their capacity to love. When we like a face, we like the spirit that animates it, and it is not enough to say that someone is physically attractive. A person can be attractive in many ways. Beauty and charm are often confused. Cleopatra, George Sand, Louise de la Valliere, and Theodora were famous for their beauty. In fact, they were not very beautiful but possessed great charm. Beauty is more an illusion than a reality. Charm differs from beauty in that it lasts forever, whereas beauty fades. The English say, "Charm last, beauty blast." Finally, we see that it is not only the eye that judges whether someone or something is beautiful, it is, above all, the mind and that which we term the heart or inner beauty. Beauty is not for the eye but for the mind. "Attraction is in the eye of the beholder," said Hungerford. Stephen M. Heflin states, "I must correct, attraction in the eye of the beholder, while beauty is shared by all. According to the American sociologist Frumkin, a woman is deemed beautiful one according to her sexual aptitude. Whether she is judged beautiful or not depends not only on the symmetry of her proportions or shape but equally by the potential sexual functions suggested by these attributes, and the sensual emotion is transformed into an aesthetic emotion. To conclude, the notion of beauty differs according to the culture and the individual, and that it is not exclusively a question of shape, form, and symmetry. The eye is not the sole judge, there is also the spirit and, above all, the heart. The mind is influenced by old memories which reside within us and shape our judgment in the same way that today's experiences will influence the future. This is seen in a phrase of Buddha, "Today is the son of yesterday and the father of tomorrow." Beauty is like an iceberg, only one part of it is visible. We could say that the baits are the face and body, and the hooks are the heart and the mind. Konrad Lorenz's theory. Konrad Lorenz, Nobel Prize winner for medicine and physiology in 1973, has contributed in a decisive way to the progress of the biology of behavior. It is he who helped us understand human beauty. Konrad Lorenz concluded that beauty is an emotion associated with the desire to protect. An old proverb summarizes perfectly: 30% of beauty is made by nature and 70% by nurture, by adornment. Beauty is that which gives the highest degree of pleasure to the senses or to the mind and suggests that the object of delight approximates one's conception of an ideal. Webster, 1988. Webster's New World Dictionary defines the word balance as a state of equilibrium, to make or be proportionate. This concept is important because psychological research strongly suggests that happiness, or well-being, is very much tied to achieving a balance between our spiritual, emotional, and physical needs. Almost nightly, now, we can sit down and watch, on TV, screens, surprise makeovers, instant makeovers, extreme makeovers, and ultimate makeovers. It is oh so seductive and seems oh so easy. As new technologies beckon, who among us can resist? In a society that is so focused on how we look, who among us would not choose beauty over perceived unattractiveness, or perfection over perceived imperfection? The plastic surgeon's role as navigator. Our ultimate goal is to get you to a place where you feel that you are the best you can be. There are people who think that cosmetic surgery is only for those who lack self-worth and have low self-esteem. Yet, surprisingly, most people who undergo cosmetic surgery are actually very confident about themselves. All patients' needs must be considered individually, because there is no single formula that applies to everyone. The results of plastic surgery are rarely satisfying for people who want to look like a particular celebrity or for people who are trying to please someone else. The people who have plastic surgery to look and feel better for themselves are usually the most satisfied. Our patients no longer want an operated or done look. Today, it is all about making changes that look natural. When it comes to cosmetic surgery today, there is no such thing as a typical candidate. No one can tell you that you need cosmetic surgery. It has to be something you want to do for yourself. Less can sometimes be more with the not-so-extreme makeover. The extreme makeover concept involves people undergoing several lengthy procedures simultaneously over the face, trunk, and extremities, leaving them wrapped like a mummy from head to toe, and making it impossible for them to return to a normal life for many weeks. The reality is that it is not normal to remain in seclusion and to have around-the-clock private nursing care for several weeks after cosmetic surgery. Cosmetic surgery should not become a contest to see how many different procedures can be performed in one day. The waves of the future. Plastic surgery is a constantly evolving specialty that is limited only by the surgeon's imagination and skills. One of the biggest trends in aesthetic medicine is the advent of combination therapies. Most of the people we see will have several chief concerns for which a combination of treatments may be recommended that produce a synergistic effect to maximize longevity and the outcome. The most common example is the combination of botulinum toxin with Restylane or other fillers. The results of lasers and peels will last longer if there is less muscle movement in the facial areas. Our ultimate mission is to choose the right procedure for the right patient at the right time. The trend is definitely leaning towards maintenance cosmetic enhancements. This philosophy involves making small changes and adjustments at younger ages than in the past, to avoid having procedures that will result in sudden drastic changes when older. The proliferation of non-surgical minimally invasive procedures has revolutionized the field of aesthetic plastic surgery in recent years and will continue to in the future. Beauty is harmony, said Sir Francis Bacon. Conclusion. Why be beautiful? It has been said that this is because of pride, pretentiousness, and a desire to be admired and to be ranked above the others. We must remember that aesthetic surgeons must try to reproduce juvenile characteristics in their work when possible and desired in order to elicit emotion and admiration. We have seen the links that exist between beauty and admiration, and the deep reverberations felt by the mind and the soul. This is well summarized by Theodore Gautier: to admire is to love with the mind, to love is to admire with the heart. Beauty, as everyone knows, is not eternal, but equally, beauty has no age. One can be good-looking at 20, but it is also possible to be irresistible at any age, as Coco Chanel said. Madame de Pompadour stated, "The first requirement of a woman is to please, and as time passes this becomes more and more difficult." The emotion of human beauty is in fact subjective. The personality and the main qualities of the person are also part of the emotion. We should remember that whenever it is possible and desired, a skilled aesthetic surgeon should optimize the features that provoke an attraction reflex of tenderness and protection, like a baby does.